What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Team Player, back again with another banger video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about gold cards. If you didn't know, on a daily basis, I do work with young kids, and the number one question I get asked about Pokemon cards are gold cards good? And today we're going to see if we can objectively answer the question based on the artworks. Luckily, it is Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I'm going to try to make sure that we always have animations done in the videos. And Saturday are going to be maybe a couple animations, but definitely less on Saturday. So hopefully you're excited for the Tuesday video. We're here talking about gold cards, and we're starting with the scoop up net. Here on the left, I always mess this up. Here on the left, as you can see, the item gold cards, there isn't a ton going on with them. Not really. I mean, it's literally just the item card usually, and not a whole lot else. You can see here on the counter catcher, at least, that there is a little bit more going on in the background. I mean, the backgrounds themselves are somewhat beautiful. I do think they look good, but overall, as far as gold cards go, probably not the best ones that we have. That is for sure. And usually that is reflected in the price of the cards, right? The scoop up net going for about $5.05. Yikes. From Rebel Clash, actually. Not a whole lot of secret rares in the set to begin with. So pretty insane that most of the secret rares in there are not that valuable. And you can see why. What is a scoop up net? What is it used for? I have no clue, right? And you can also see in the animations, it didn't give me a whole lot to go off of. The only card here I believe that actually does fetch a decent price on average is the Ultra Ball. It's actually got, I believe, one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive gold card printed, because it's still usable. And I think it's used in most decks, a very, very playable card. And that's why it does carry. Usually the gold Ultra Balls go for anywhere from what, 30 to that one that I was speaking of before, up in the close to $300 range. Sheesh. That's quite the price tag, just to flex in your deck. But you know, people will pay to flex. That is for sure. We know that about card game players. Moving into a gold card I'm actually a huge fan of, Path to the Peak. This one is really beautiful in my opinion, and the animation actually does follow suit. I don't have my cursor, so I can't really show you on screen, but I really love the snom that's running over on the left side of the card there. It is really a nice touch that I didn't even see the first couple times that I saw the card, and it really makes the animation stand out. I really love the gold snowflakes. I think they really killed this card. I think it looks really good. And stadium cards in general, I think, do look better than item cards, and it's kind of weird. Why is that? But you look at all of the stadium cards that I'm included here, and I just kind of picked them at random out of sets. They all are actually really cool artworks and set a really nice scene and paint a picture of what's going on, or of the stadium itself, right? Let's go take a look at the prices. Path to the Peak, a little bit more expensive from Astral Radiance. Is this because of the artwork? It's hard to tell. It might just be a more playable card. Usually with these item cards, stadium cards, it's always usually the price is going to be reflected based on their playability and what decks they're being used in, because you know the artworks they usually aren't including Pokemon or anything like that, especially not in the gold ones. But we do get the special appearance of the Snom, which I do think makes this one a little bit more special. Moving into the Lugia V-Star, I do think, as far as just normal gold Pokemon cards go, it is a very excellent one. I do love it. It is exploding out of the card. But again, you can see there's not a whole lot I could do with the animation here. If maybe I was a little bit more skilled, I could maybe do something with the mouth. that's maybe for the future. That would take a lot more skill than I currently possess, but I'm getting better and better. I do really like this card though. And again, is it based on the Pokemon? Is it based on the art? It's hard to say why some of these cards are carrying prices that they are, but just, objectively speaking, from an artwork perspective, I think this card, you could agree, is probably a little bit better than the Path to the Peak. At least, maybe just a little bit. It's tough to say. I really do like the Path to the Peak, but I also do like this Lugia V-Star. You can see in the Raging Bolt that they gave it more of a full artwork. The Lugia V-Star did not get that treatment. The Arceus V-Star did not get that treatment. I'm not sure why that is, or why the Pokemon Company decided to go with that direction, but it does make them stand out, the V-Stars versus the Vs, so I'll give them that. But I do prefer the full artworks over the Lugia V-Star, so the Moltres I think is an excellent example of this card. Let's take a look at the prices. And you're going to see $20. $20 for the Lugia V-Star. I mean, we looked at the Karen's Umbreon, or the Umbreon V Max from Brilliant Stars, which was also $20, and I would prefer to have that Umbreon every day of the week. It's not close. So I really do feel like maybe we're starting to see why some of these cards are lacking. And for me, if I was going to drop a $20 bill, I would certainly put it other places. There are, for me at least, I'm an artwork guy when it comes to the cards I collect. Maybe you collect cards just based on Pokemon. If you're a huge Lugia fan, I could definitely see why you'd want to pick up this card or be very excited about pulling it. I would definitely be excited about pulling it. But as far as spending on a singles perspective, there's a lot more cards I'd rather have for the $20 price. And real quick, I just wanted to go ahead and show the Galarian Moltres V, because $10 for this card is insane. I would pick this up for 10. That the colors on it are crazy, and it goes really, really well with the gold. As you can see, that gold and that black look magnificent. And maybe you can see the theme from the video, as we've done a little bit of a dark and gold theme too. Moving into probably my second favorite card on the list, and probably the second favorite animation, even though it is so simple, the Fairy Energy. I think this card is magnificent. One of the better energy cards I've seen. I think all of the energy cards, the gold ones, look really, really cool. As far as the blinged out energies, I'd much rather prefer a gold one than maybe, say, the 151 hollow energies. I don't really love those at all. Those left a bad taste in my mouth, but I really do like the gold card energies. And the reason I decided to do the Fairy is because it's only been printed once. Fairy has only been around in the TCG, maybe for Sun and Moon and X and Y. They didn't do gold energies in X and Y, so Sun and Moon Burning Shadows was the only print of the Fairy Gold energy, at least for now. We've also included the Fire, Dark, Psychic, and Leaf energies. I just really like the colors on them compared to the gold. I think they look really, really nice, and I really do love the sparkles that they put in the background, especially on that Dark energy. It's just, it's popping. And taking a look at the price of the Fairy energy, just in case you were a little bit curious as we move down the list, the prices seem to also be reflected. The Fairy energy, again, only printed once, which is probably the only reason why it is this expensive. Most gold cards are going to be, as you can see, probably around the $10-ish range, just because the secret rares in there a little bit difficult to pull, and again, you can use them to flex in your deck. So they're going to carry a little bit of a price, but that Fairy energy is definitely an outlier, and I'm not sure what it was going for on release, but I'm assuming it was probably around the range of what we normally see. Probably my favorite card on the list, or my favorite set of cards on the list, I probably should say, the Gyarados EX. You got the Volcanion, the Mewtwo's, the Alakazam, and the Gardevoir. Whoa. These gold cards, and maybe you don't consider them to be gold cards, but the borders are gold. including the basic, the EX. It's all gold, except for the actual Pokemon. I think they should stop doing these kind of normal gold cards with the gold outlines and go back to this style, because this style goes crazy. And it makes these cards really one of a kind as far as gold cards are concerned. And these I need. I do not have a single one of these in my collection. And these are now, I mean, they always were on my radar, but now looking and researching some of the other gold cards available, these are on my radar. I would like a full set. And the price, we're moving up just a tad bit. $51.75 for the market price actually has been going up recently, and that's over the past 3 months. You could have got this card last year for as low as $30. That would have been a steal, and I missed out. And I don't know if it'll drop back down there again, but hopefully it does come back under $50, and I would absolutely be a buyer at that price range. And I'm just going to be pulling up a couple of the other cards here as we look at the Gardevoirs from Steam Seeds, which actually has fallen out of favor recently and fallen to that $35 price range. So if maybe the trends keep, and Gardevoir is a beloved card in the not only in the TCG, but I meant in just all of Pokemon, of course, for reasons unknown. But this one, $35 for a near mint copy, I think is a great price, and I am going to be picking up one of these in the near future. Moving into the shiny Snorlax from Chilling Reign, and you've got yourself a pretty nice gold card here. I mean, a shiny Snorlax definitely carries more weight than just a gold Snorlax. They made some of these shiny during Sword and Shield, and I really liked them. A lot of them were really awesome, even though their price tags, except for this Snorlax here, really don't necessarily follow suit. I would be able to show you this card if I still had it. I did pack this. Actually, one of probably the only good pulls I got out of Chilling Reign was this gold Snorlax, and I ended up selling it because, I mean, I just wasn't that fond of it, to be honest. But I sold it for around 83 at the time, and honestly, it was a good move. I could buy it right now, and I would have made a profit on that. I also did highlight the Charizard and the Garchomp here because they do have some of the same effects as the shiny card from Sword and Shield, but they are, I guess, crystals maybe from the terastallization that's going on, and I think they are very similar, and I do like these ones way more than the Lugia variants that we saw before, which is why they're higher up on the list for me. Taking a look at the price of the Snorlax, and it is actually done tremendously well, considering the prices falling of some cards as much as they did post-pandemic. This Snorlax has held on pretty decently. I would have thought after post-pandemic that this card maybe would have been in the 40s. No, it's held strong. The market has kept it right about that $65 price range, so people really do love the Snorlax here. And I did just want to take a look at the Garchomp as well. Ooh, $10. This one will be purchased. $10 for the Garchomp. Garchomp is in my top 5 favorite Pokemon of all time. By far, probably number 2 on that list to Houndour, because that was my first one as a kid. So I'll leave it number 2. I like this Garchomp. $10 is a good price. I pick it up. And finally, our last type of gold card that the Pokemon Company has really given us. We've got the Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery gold cards, and these are different. These are different. I think these rival the Gyarados that we were taking a look at a little bit earlier. I think that you take a look at them, the gold borders, even though that these have more gold going on in the actual card than the Gyarados and its counterparts, right? So I moved them up a little bit higher on the list. And honestly, this wasn't like a list in order. I don't know why I'm saying up on the list. The Gyarados for me is higher than the Snorlax, if you will. So I think if we were doing a tier list, it would go number 1, S+, Giratina, then you're going to have the Gyarados cards, then probably the Snorlax, then the Energies, then I'm moving into the the normal gold Pokemon, and then the stadiums and the item cards. That would be my list there if you were really looking for them in order. But I really do think that these Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery cards are a cut above the rest. I mean, look what I was able to do with the animation. And to be fair to the Gyarados, I could have probably done a little bit more, but I didn't have the time, nor did I feel like I could really do anything to the Gyarados itself that it already wasn't really displaying in the card, right? So I just stuck to the Greninja and the Manaphy on the sides. But I really, really do think that these cards are going to, I cannot believe you can get them for the prices that you can. And since we last talked about it, it has actually held about steady. I think last time we were talking about it in the Van Gogh Pikachu video, we were talking about it about the $75 price range. So I think that's a great price for the cards. And you look at maybe the Arceus, which also a very nice card in its own right, and you're getting a little bit cheaper at around 60. So some really, really great cards for the prices. And again, I think you can say that these gold cards are that expensive because they are a lot more beautiful than the other gold cards that we've looked on the list today. And that goes for the Gyarados as well. The Gyarados and the Gardevoir, the Alakazam, they carry a higher price tag because they are beautiful. To answer the question as objectively as possible, are gold cards good? I think that it's not that black and white. I think we have to say that not all gold cards are created equally. That is definitely the case. And we're hoping that maybe the Pokemon Company will give us some more spicy gold cards in the years to come that we can celebrate and consider amazing and good, right? But no, not all gold cards are good. There are a bunch out there that I think are just plain Jane, and really a shame that are secret rares and taking up a slot that is, again, a difficult pull for something that is not beautiful. Not that everything has to be beautiful, but it shouldn't be as hard to pull these gold cards. They're not, compared to some of the other secret rares in the sets that they are next to, it's night and day, right? It's black and white. It's not close. You'd rather pull some of the other secret rares in the slots. And then, of course, in Crown Zenith, it's not the case. You would much rather pull these gold cards than some of their counterparts. So definitely not created equally. Hopefully you enjoyed this little tiny deep dive into gold cards and you like the animations. I did spend way too much time on Path to the Peak. This was actually probably the most time I spent on an animation for this week. So if you'd leave the video a little like just for that, I'd really appreciate it. And I will see y'all on Saturday for a workshop. I'm going to be teaching y'all how I do my animation. So if you're excited for that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see y'all on Saturday.